Hi everyone, it's Tess and today's tip 383. I'm going to get back at this. I might be a little bit earlier for those days when I have to go into work. But today I just wanted to talk about, I'm going to call it taking advantage of the spring and avoiding those super lofty goals. I read an article in US News and it was 9 of the best spring weight loss tips. And it was by a person named Toby Armador. And I thought he had some good things to think about as we spring forward, things that we might all want to consider as we make adjustments. It seems like we're all setting goals and all trying to move forward. And I think really when they try to talk about mindfulness and lifestyle goals, they just mean kind of the same thing as what Doc V will say about take your shot, then adjust when you get down the road, take the next shot, adjust when you go down the road. We spend too much time in planning and not enough time in action. And I think that's where, like even for myself, I know I have to keep moving down the road, not look for, it's easy to sit back and look at failures and not move forward and try to analyze and overanalyze and feel like I'm accomplishing something, but it just never works that way. I do see somebody on board, so hello, good morning. And what I wanted to say is these 9 tips I thought were good, especially as we're going forward. And I'll probably talk about these tonight in Doc V's Transform Your Life Challenge group. The first thing they said is revisit your why. And as soon as I read that, it reminded me of Jim Rohn. And he's got like 4 statements, and I only wrote down 3 of them, but it's why not now, and why not me? And I think that's so important is we have to stop with the what, what is it we want to do? And why not? Why not now? Why not me? I need to move forward. I need to be progressing down the road. I've had a lot of accomplishments in the past 5 years and huge accomplishments in the past 2 years since I joined the Doc V Challenge. But I need to keep moving forward. And if I'm going to keep moving forward, I can't let myself get stumbled by small obstacles. I just have to know that no matter what presents, I'm learning from it and keep moving forward. So I think the first thing they're saying is revisit the why, and I'll add to that if you listen to the Jim Rohn, and maybe I'll try to tag it in this post. There's a why not now? Why not me? Just why not? Why not do it now? The next thing is realistic goals, and they said something in this article, again from US News. They said, avoid super lofty goals. And I thought that was so important because historically, super lofty. Hi, John Clark, good to see you. Super lofty goals have gotten me in trouble more times than I care to admit. Avoid those super lofty goals. Just take the small steps. I know even for myself, I've had to be careful this month. I took on kind of a lofty goal. I won't call it a super lofty goal, but I was shooting for 15,000 steps a day, January 1st. Now all of a sudden I have in my head 20,000 and I'm like, wait a minute. Back down. You got a couple trips coming up. You got to go back into the office. You don't want to be walking from the time you get home until the time it's bed to try to get 20,000 steps. Stick with 15,000 because it may be a challenge with what's coming up in life right now. And then once we get to April, then relook at maybe that'll be a time to get 20,000 because our sidewalks will be a little bit clearer, our temperatures will be a little bit better. But I know I historically take on too much and then I let go before I'm ready to hit the next level. So for me, I'm going to back it down a little bit because staying at 15,000 for 2 or 3 months is a whole lot better than falling back to 5,000 or less a day. So I'm going to try very hard not to go super lofty, just to keep moving forward. I found that in the past 2 years, I get farther when I just keep moving forward. I stop spending all my time planning and I just start moving. The next thing he said is spring clean. And I think that's a great thing. A lot of us, we're getting into the spring. What can you get rid of? Maybe it's a time to consider gardening. I'm thinking about what I'm going to plant. Gardening, fresh foods, what kind of new fruits and vegetables can you add in? It's time to get rid of the holiday stuff that may be still hanging around. Maybe there's cookies or candies or treats or things that really you only wanted because you wanted them in case you had company, but now you're past that point. It's become a habit, so maybe it's time just to clean that stuff out and move forward. Maybe it's also spring cleaning time to get rid of some big clothes. I'm realizing I'm going to have to do some of that too. I think that is important. Then the fourth pointer from this article was leave fruit on the counter. Maybe fruit, vegetables. They say also put your fruit or vegetables in the front of your refrigerator so when you open the door you see it right away. I'm going to add to that, if you kind of cleanse yourself of processed foods, you'll really get to where you can enjoy the flavor of the food that you're eating. That was one thing when I first started changing the way I eat from doing this weight loss journey. I started realizing that the reason fruits and vegetables didn't appeal to me before were twofold. The first was because so much stuff was coming to me being picked before it was ripe so that it could be transported, and because I was so used to chemical sweeteners that I never really truly tasted the uniqueness of the fruit and the vegetables I was eating. So cleansing my palate was very, very helpful. And I see a few more on, so thank you for joining me. So cleansing my palate, that was definitely a beautiful thing. The next tip that they gave for springing forward was sleep. They say that for all of us, and this has come up in almost every group I've ever been a part of, they're saying that we should shoot for about 7 hours of sleep a night. That if people don't get 7 hours of sleep a night, they say that they tend to weigh more than the average person. The next tip that they had was veggies, get more veggies in. Those of us that are in a Doc V's challenge know that for each day, 2 of our meals, he highly encourages one to be a green smoothie. And by a green smoothie, all that means is you put some vegetables in whatever smoothie you put together. I know people go back and forth about how does it taste. Well, if you put in some, I find lettuce is a very bland flavor. It doesn't really, I mean, there are some spicier types of lettuce, but if you're making a fruit one, if you put in a couple leaves of lettuce, you don't taste the lettuce. If you're making a vegetable, in the wintertime, I tend to just more or less make vegetable soup. And you can blend it up or have it like a vegetable soup, but it's getting that amount of veggies in. In the summer, I go heavier with frozen fruit so that it's more of a slushy ice cream thing. But honestly, I don't taste the lettuce if I put lettuce in it. And the point is just getting the nutrients from the fruits and the vegetables. And the big salad, again, like he says, 1, if we fill up on that type of stuff, and 2, it provides nutrition. And I kind of look at my green smoothie as a lot of people buy those 5-hour energy boosts at the checkout in the register. I consider my green smoothie my 5-hour energy boost. And there's no additives to it. It's not got a shelf life, so that's a good thing. The next thing they talked about is number 8 is eat fresh. And again, this is where, like Doc V has pointed out a lot, that if we're eating a lot of processed foods, we've got a lot of chemicals in our body. And it might be kind of worthwhile to try to eat fresh for a period of time to cleanse the palate. 1, you can taste your food better and it feels good. And then here's John. I like to add 1K a week when I build up. Yeah, that's a good idea, John. And John's talking about earlier, I was saying that I walk 15,000 steps a day, and I was getting ready to bump it up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've got a busy month. I'm not going to bump it up yet. I'll bump it up in April. But he's right. Yeah, like gradually building, like 1,000 a week, something like that. And I'm going to probably do that, but I'll wait until I get through this next month because I've got a couple of traveling things to do. And we're still finishing up the last of year end because next week, hopefully, we'll have the bulk of it done. And then we'll just have the stragglers to clean up. But now the next thing, he was talking to eat fresh. And like I was kind of saying is when you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, you might want to cleanse your palate. Make sure you're drinking water without additives because any flavorings that you add are chemicals. And Doc V always refers to chemicals as I'm going to say chemical poop storm. We all know he doesn't say poop storm, but he just says it creates all kinds of havoc inside your system. So once in a while, if you can't, just try, add 1 pure water a day just to see how you feel. Kind of evaluate what you're eating at what time of the day it is so that you can see if, like I find that there are certain foods I cannot eat at lunchtime because it makes my analytical brain struggle harder in the afternoon, and I hate that. So kind of evaluate and think. I've also mentioned before a few times that I was getting a couple allergy shots a week before I had surgery, before I lost all the weight. And now that I've had the surgery and I've lost 175 pounds, I don't need the allergy shots anymore. And I know what foods, I'm recognizing foods that I was eating pre-surgical that I didn't realize I was allergic to. So it's giving me an opportunity to kind of evaluate what food makes my body feel good. Because I got into the habit of food was about taste, but honestly, food is about fuel. And I know it's hard to make that transition, but if you do, it's a great gift. The last tip from this article was active and move. And we have been kind of talking about that throughout this talk today. And you want to move, you want to tackle something new, you want to have some fun, you want to make it a family affair. I know that for me, I like to take morning walks because I like to count how many bunnies I'm going to see. Last summer, I'd see up to 13, and inevitably timed just right, and we're just getting into that season again. As I'm coming around the corner to come home, I would see a sunrise, and I'd say 5 days of the week, I would see the most beautiful colors as the sun was coming up, as I was coming home to start the day. And that was beautiful. My mom and I actually took snowshoes out because we've had snow here, and we were walking the park with snowshoes on because I'm getting ready, and John Clark will be familiar with this because he's about to do this too, but we're going to be in Utah doing snowshoeing and zip lining. So that will be kind of fun, but you want to make it fun. You want to make it playful. You want to make it enjoyable. Look for ways. Try something new. Do something with your family. I was shocked when my retired mom, and I didn't ask her, I didn't pursue this at all. She pursued it with me. She said, "Can I walk with you in the morning?" And I'm like, well, if you want to walk with me in the morning, I'd never say no. So we don't live in the same household. So she actually gets up on her own, meets with me. If it's a work day, she'll meet me at my place so that we can get some walk in before I go to work. Or if it's a weekend, I'll go down to her place so that we can get a walk in. And she actually has told me how much better her day feels when she gets up and is active. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. So I'll go through these 7 tips again, or 9 tips again. And I'm going to get back to this every day now that we're kind of getting close to that March 1st deadline, that the big one that I have for my job. But this is just some things about getting ready for spring, and I'll talk about it in Doc V's Transform Your Life group tonight. We're all trying to come up with what we're going to do to spring into this next season, to get ready, to move forward, and to make the most of the next year. I'm hoping that things are opening in new ways and we're all experiencing things again, and experiencing them in a different way. Let's make our lives better as we move forward. So the first one was revisit your why, thinking about Jim Rohn. Why? Why not? Why not me? And why not now? Think about those 4 questions and get an idea of what you want to do. And then what you want to do for step number 2 is, once you visit your whys, go to number 2 is set realistic goals. Avoid super lofty goals. Make them reachable, small, incremental move forwards. Remember, we're going to take the shot, and then as we get down the road, we're going to adjust, take the next shot, adjust, take the next shot. That way we reach our goal. When we try to take on too much at once, it's too easy to decide that we're going to quit. Number 3 is spring clean. Go through and what can you get rid of? Is it time to get rid of some clothes? Is it time to get rid of some snacks that have snuck in through the comforting winter months? Get rid of that stuff and start fresh. And maybe you want to start a garden. I love gardening, and I never thought I would, but it's fun. I had a tomato season last year that rivaled many. I could not believe how many tomatoes I had. It was kind of fun. And I created all different kinds of salsas, so that was fun too. The next one is leave your fruit on the counter, or put all your fruits and vegetables in front of your refrigerator, because that'll help you to grab them for snacks. If you're part of the tribe, you know Doc V says no snacking. You should stick to just your 3 meals a day, because if we've struggled with weight our whole lives, he says we're not to be trusted with snacks, so don't have them. But if you are going to, and you're going to fight that system, put them where they're visible so you grab them. The next one is sleep. Shoot for 7 hours a day. There are studies that are saying if you don't get at least 7 hours, you tend to weigh more. Then the next one is veggies and smoothies and big salads. You want to get in those fruits and vegetables. Kind of like I mentioned before, this goes into the next tip, eat fresh. If you start to eat fresh, meaning clean water without artificial sweeteners, you want to get fruits and vegetables, get rid of as much processed food as you can. What I found when I started to do that is that I cleared the palate of the chemical tastes, and there is a chemical taste. I didn't realize it until I'd been away from the processed food for a period of time. But if you can clear that chemical taste, then you can get back to tasting what fruits and vegetables truly taste like. And yeah, I think you'll find that you like them because there's more of a variety. What I'm finding is there's more of a variety of flavors in the fresh stuff. Once you get masked with chemicals, you may get a boost of sweetness, but the flavor tends to be all the same. It's not as varied as if you're eating real fruits and vegetables. The last one again is move. And don't, what was the term? Don't make it super lofty, make it manageable. Even if it's only 10 minutes more, like John Clark was saying, or not John Clark, it was, oh no, it was John. I was thinking it was Tom. It was John or Tom. I knew it was one of them. But as John was saying, even 1,000 steps, if you're boosting it up, just boost it up 1,000 steps. Don't overkill it. Make it manageable. Make it something you enjoy. Maybe do something with the family. Maybe it's walking outside in the morning with the sunrise. Maybe it's snowshoeing if you're in a winter state. But snowshoeing is just a walking thing. It just takes a little bit to get used to. Maybe it's dancing. Somebody from my group loves to dance. And if that's something you're passionate about, do it. There's all kinds of activities, rope climbing, mountain climbing. There's all kinds of things. They have those jumping things now everywhere. There's lots to do. We have a park around here that has a hill that has steps you can go up and down. So just find something that's fun and maybe find a time of the day that's fun. And thank you guys for being here. And my goal is to be here every day again. I know as my busy season got really, really busy, I fell off for the past few days, but I want to make sure I keep doing this because I'm 2 years in and I made a commitment to do this. So I'm going to continue to do it. And I will be live in Doc V's group tonight. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you. Make Sunday count and make your future the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Thank you.